posting of first and chapter 951 and obtaining notice of the Texas Government Code as amended under the Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak shall each have 5 minutes to address the board. Any comments?
My name is Tony Atkins, a concerned citizen of this county. During discussion on agenda items at last week's court, Commissioner Bonner made some rather interesting comments regarding the recommendation by our County Grievance Committee to approve a 3% salary increase for JP 1 and 3, which amounted to around $1,400. Commissioner Bonner made a statement that he felt every county employee deserved a raise, but that he could not support any raise or any such pay increase given the current financial hardships regarding county tax revenue, COVID-19, and the depressed oil market. Were those financial hardships considered back in May when you gave a $3,000 raise to an employee with 13 months on the job, from $36,720 to $39,600, without submitting to the budget process or accountability to your constituents, the residents of this community? Wasn't there a regional salary above the entry-level pay of $36,000 for that position already? What about the proposed full-time position of purchasing clerk for the county auditor's office? Were you aware that Commissioner Ridge allegedly lobbied Judge Simmons by way of personal letter to make this recommendation to the Commissioner's Court? Will you support that additional pay increase by making this position part-time, a full-time position? I wonder if this has already been decided without public discussions, as I have personally witnessed in taking pictures of Commissioners Oaks, Ridge, and Bonner in the auditor's office outside of Commissioner's Court in direct violation of the Open Meetings Act. Is there a conspiracy between you elected officials and the appointed auditor to work to these decisions outside the Commissioner's Court and outside of the public record? As per the Texas Attorney General's recent opinion, even secret discussions on public matters by officers who conspire together in numbers less than a quorum violates the Open Meetings Act. I find these actions highly unethical and more obviously illegal. I've already made a complaint with the county attorney and plan to push this complaint even further with the Attorney General if action is not taken immediately. Now going back to the county raise, Commissioner Bonner stated he felt that it was not financially feasible. It is not only feasible, the court can make this happen. The county judge received $90,000 in total remuneration, including $25,000 in state supplement and $3,600 in travel allowance. Each commissioner received a travel allowance of $14,000 annually. Outside of the constables and JPs, which are paid substantially lower, each elected official's pay is set at $51,000, including each commissioner. In fact, the only county officials that are paid more than $51,000 is the elected county judge at $64,000 and the appointed county auditor at $58,000, who gave herself a 5% raise in the 2018-19 budget year. As a side note, since the county auditor's office is not required nor an elected position, or rather an optional office that is appointed, and given the current financial climate, should dissolving this office not be up for discussion? So here's my suggestion. Each commissioner give up their travel allowance. The county judge should voluntarily reduce the pay of that office so that the total base remuneration is $51,000. I do understand that as per the state statute that creates this supplement, the Commissioner's Court cannot take action, but the elected official can voluntarily submit to a pay increase. Lastly, if the county auditor's office is to remain, no additional pay should be considered for any position, but a decrease in pay from $58,000 to $51,000 or less. These changes would save $105,000 in the annual budget. To put that in perspective, that is enough to give every county employee a 2.78% raise. If you focus on the sheriff's department and jail, a 7.89% raise. It is appalling that road and bridge employees make more than our first responders. When was the last time a road and bridge employee or commissioner was forced to respond to a domestic abuse call that resulted in themselves being assaulted? When was the last time that any other county employee had to strap on a bulletproof vest just to do their job? When was the last time any other county employee with a graveyard shift with little to no support or backup with potential life and death consequences? When was the last time any of you kissed your family goodbye not knowing if you would give your life that day to protect someone else? These are, of course, hard decisions. However, being a leader is hard. Being a public servant is hard. Each of you were elected to be a public servant. However, it appears the swamp is alive here and well in Freestone County, and these offices appear to serve your personal interest rather than the interest of your constituents.
Other comments?
Bosley. I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of what Tony said. EMS, from what I understand, Billy Perez came in here and asked for $125,000 plus a $25,000 capital improvement investment. Can I show a hand to anybody that is against our hospital and is willing to vote for the rollback? Anybody? Okay, so why are you going to limit? I mean, who wants to get broke down? Every one of us have. Who wants to get broke down on the way to the hospital? You're going to vote to cut his budget, and we might as well vote against the hospital. Give the man his money. I made the same speech in City Council the other night. They approved his 125 plus 50. They come up from their 100 where they were at. Guys, but these are valuable things that we have to have in this community. This is not road and bridge. I'm not worried about an old sand road. I want to make sure every one of y'all get to the hospital if you need it. Every one of us. I think it is a valuable thing that we make sure that EMS, all of our EMSs are fully funded, along with our sheriff's department. Thank you.
I'm here to approach y'all about the election administrator position that the county clerk asked me for. Last week, I think she discussed some things later on in the court, why she needs it, or why the county and voted for it. It's not benefit her. Her days are numbered in her office. So anyway, I'm here to discuss that. She asked one for the last several budgets, and nothing has been done. Nor you had no commissioner that went down to her office or anything, just kind of complained or discussed with her why you don't want. It's just, you look at her, look at us, go on to the next subject. Why do we need an election administrator? Last week, I gave y'all this map. Within around 100 miles of Freestone County, every county has got an election administrator. Their commissioners have been appointed, but they have chosen to go that route. Why? Because elections are complicated. Elections administrators are responsible for the cities, the schools, the hospital district. The county clerk's not responsible for that. This year, Governor Abbott mandated that everyone who runs elections in the county is required to hold schools, hospitals, cities, and I don't know if any of y'all know anything about this, but Freestone County actually has Mahia, Oakwood, or part of Mahia School District, Oakwood School District, Carson County, and Buffalo School District. It gets very complicated for treating her as a part of our elections as a part-time job, and that's exactly what y'all do. Elections isn't a deal where you can go out and patch a hole in the road, and next month patch it again, and patch it again, and patch it again. The voters deserve an election administrator. The cost will be very minimal. You can choose to use existing employees, you can choose to hire people. She about 2 years ago, she come to the court and had an agreement with the tax collector that they would take one employee out of that office, the clerk would take one employee out of their office. Combined, you would have one office for election. You wouldn't have the tax office doing some parts, the county clerk doing some parts. I don't know if that applies nowadays, but that was a couple of years ago. Nothing was done. Also, how do you pay for just a few extra dollars for the county that really would probably got about 12,000 registered voters in this county? Right here, I looked up here, y'all have $9.5 million worth of CDs. Some of these don't mature till next July 21, so I'm figuring you're trying to save. On this right here, $175,000, you're making interest off of that in this fiscal year. $175,000. Like Tony said, you could pay for every county employee a raise or every what with that, and still have money left over. So out of this $9.5 million, sure you can find $10,000 to $15,000 for election administrator. And I'm going to leave you with this. If you think the tax collector office and the county clerk should have any business running an election that they're part of, This lady right here is getting 3 elections. Her office is responsible for machines, tabulating votes. If you can go to bed at night thinking that it's good for that county clerk right there to be part of an election here when she is on the ballot, or the tax collector when they're on the ballot, I don't think you have much conscience. The president don't run his election, the governor don't run his election, the mayor don't run his election, the city council don't run their elections. But yet, right here in Freestone County, it does not have to be this way. Right here, the clerk and the tax collector run the election, and they're part of on the ballot. I guarantee you, if I was running for county clerk or tax collector, they were part on that ballot, I'd be up here every day complaining. I complain with him. That's not good. But if you got any kind of conscience at all, you wouldn't allow that to happen in this county and all these other counties. It's not happening. Thank you.
I think this is a good time for me to talk after Mr. Jarvis. My name is Pat Wiggins, and I'm the election judge for the Dew Precinct, Precinct 13, which is a small precinct. But I have been doing that since 2012. I've got a few elections under my belt. 2 years ago, I was not for an election administrator. But I've done it long enough now, I am. We need someone who's consistent. But in addition to that, I watched the Dew School Board have an election, and they went out of county to get their equipment because our equipment's so high. I was really proud of the judge last week when you said that there's money in the budget for new equipment. I was sorry to hear that it won't be available in November because this election's going to be tough. I had to open an election 20 minutes late because of equipment problems. Because I had to wait for somebody to come and fix the equipment. That's not right. If we had an election administrator, I think we would have consistency. I don't know how many people I've been through since 2012 working the elections, and they don't get good until they're gone. And I would love to have some consistency in that position. Somebody who learns it well, thoroughly, and then can go out and sell their services to Fairfield, who doesn't use the county equipment, to the other school districts. And I just think it would be a wise decision to put that in. And I don't know, we're going to have a new tax assessor next year. I don't know what agreements that person will make, but it would be nice to have an election administrator. Thank you.
With the Fairfield Library, and I just wanted to come this morning, give you the packages and let you know how much that we appreciate y'all partnering, the county partnering with the library to provide services. Last year, we ended 2019 with another better year than the year before. COVID stuff has got us down a little bit right now, but we're asking again for y'all to partner with us so we can continue to provide outstanding services. I think most all of you have been in the library. You know how wonderful it is, and the community is always letting us know how proud they are of the library, and I think they are proud as well. And so before I close, I guess I'll say that if you have any questions with any of the stuff in the package, y'all can contact me, and we'll be glad to work it. And then I'll answer questions now if you want to as well. But I want to mention that with me here this morning is the Library Board President, Scott Mills.
Judge Grant, honorable commissioners, I just wanted to come today for 2 reasons. First of all, I've lived in precinct number 1 for 28 years. This is my first time ever being a county commissioner for the meeting. So, you've done a great job. Thank you. Second, main reason is to piggyback on what Gary said. We certainly appreciate all your support and just help that we need to continue to provide valuable service to Frisco County citizens. So I just want to come today and first thank you for your support.
Well, we appreciate what you do.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. There are a couple of items that we need to address. That we have, talked about before. First one, the ambulance. They are requesting 25,000 more for just general expenses and 25 for capital outlay. What additions can we put in the budget for them?
I recommend that we put the 25,000 in the budget for them, making it $150,000 if we get that.
Right now, they have been budgeted 100 in past times. So are you saying raise it to?
Okay, I believe they're asking for 50,000, so we have been budgeting them 100,000. So I would like to at least try to give them, being that the city has given them 150,000, and they're asking for 150,000. I would recommend that we give them 150,000. And one of the reasons we're in this state with the COVID, and we know that it's very taxing on them. And I think this would be a great time to give them that 150,000. Now, I know that for the last 3.5 years that I've been here, that we have not given them anything. And so I believe that this would be a good year to support them with 150,000 because of the pandemic that is going on.
I think we do it for one, we do it for both ambulance services. Well,
We have money. We have money.
Yes.
For both, you know about the big one?
whatever we get back, we can take. That's what we've all been doing today.
About the work with on my head.
We have a contract with them.
We take care of that, we got that taken care of.
Sir, okay. I'll put that in the budget. Now, we previously talked about an election administrator. I know we had talked about this would be the time based on some changes in positions, previous positions. So this would be the time that it would be good for us to look at that and see if we can get that, see if we can figure out how to make that work. I guess we would say that. We would need an administrator and an assistant, which I talked to Lisa this morning, and we had talked about having a person out of Brenda's office and a person before out of the tax office. Lisa said she would prefer not to. We talked about possibly the assistant in the election administrator's office, the assistant to be part-time just don't know until we kind of get into it and see what the timing is.
Yes, ma'am, and I also was asked if anyone in my office was interested in this position, and no, there is not anyone in my office interested to go to full-time elections.
Wait, I say that again?
I was asked last week if anybody in my office was interested in this position, and I thought there would be. They changed their mind, and there is no one in my office interested in going to full-time elections.
So you're saying you would not give up a position?
I will do what it takes, what's best for the county. I would rather not lose one due to someone not wanting to go to full-time elections. I would not want to make that choice of who I had to let go. But that was, for this week, I spoke to them to get some definite answers.
You already have an election budget that has election expenses budgeted within that department. I don't know exactly where we would put that, but we'd have to look at that and see what we can figure out for a slot for the election administrator and a part-time assistant.
I mean, if they're adding one, I just go ahead and get one.
Well, it's, there's never really a good time where it works out, where you have the positions to where you can transfer them. But if we wait, it's not ever going to be a better time either, as far as that.
Could we go ahead and do that, and then when someone, left that office, left the county clerk's office, could we then not fill that position and transfer that pay to the election person?
That could be this year,
I
next year, the
understand.
year after.
I understand.
That's what I mean, there's never going to be
Right.
a good time unless someone left and you had to fill the position. Then it
I would appreciate not having to turn someone go.
No, I'm not saying let somebody go.
No, what I'm saying is I agree with you. Whenever someone leaves, then not rehire. I appreciate not having to let somebody go in order to have an election administrator, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be.
Well, we could, this is something that we could do during the year. We don't have to do it at budget time because we do, I think if we were transferring, we could transfer it during the year sometime rather than, we wouldn't want it to start until January anyway, after this election, because we couldn't get a person ready to do that.
That's correct.
Would it work, and I haven't asked in my office, but if anybody in my office wanted the full-time part, to take the full-time part and be replaced them full-time in my office, and then if Lynn had somebody that wanted to do part-time like they talked about in our office, would that work?
If they were agreeable to move, it would just be transferring over, so I don't know if we would necessarily have to advertise. We could do that if we were transferring a person, I think. So do you want to talk to people in your office and see, and then we'll come back and see what we can
I can say, but if somebody from my office full-time went to that, then I could hire somebody to replace them in my office full-time, is what I was thinking. And then,
Well, if somebody in your office was willing to transfer over, and you were gonna hire another person, we might as well just hire a full-time person.
right,
I would, and still be adding an employee.
My question is, what would have to do with applications or posting, or no one in your office would want to be the election administrator?
No, sir, no one's interested in doing it.
Who would want to be election? How can we get,
Advertise for one, if nobody's.
and they know something about elections, y'all will check all that out?
There are some people that worked in Linda's office before that have left that might be interested.
Yeah, well, I understand.
And it may be somebody else, I don't know. But, if we have somebody transferred to that office, they may not really know all about it either. They'll just
I'm there to work through till they're comfortable with what they're doing. I'm willing to put my time in to training and doing my part, which an election administrator is going to have a little more duties for sure that I probably couldn't help with by knowing the laws of other entities. But as far as my part, I'm very willing to train until someone's comfortable.
That election person, who would they work for? I mean, who would be their supervisor? Isn't there a board or something
It's a
that,
board.
there's a board that supervises that position?
People that will be on the board, I think it's the county clerk.
County judge, tax person,
Yes,
and the two-party chairs.
two-party chairs, that's right. And it's a board.
So that's who that person would answer to.
So Judge, if we allocated a certain amount of money for the election coordinator, administrator, just for her, and then work with the tax collector, and maybe we could also work maybe part-time within the office with a person.
Actually,
Until we
we were
got
talking
that.
about working, she was going to let us have one of her employees, which is familiar with the elections, and then, maybe a part-time person out of the tax
Yeah.
office, but that,
I think if we had somebody who already have experience.
and people in this office do, you said they all work on, you all work.
They all specialize in one little spot. Nobody knows the behind the scenes of mine and my chief deputy's job. Nobody knows that part. But somebody specializes in the electronics, somebody specializes in the poll book. So they have, and somebody specializes on the ERM, which is bringing in the totals at night. So no, there's not someone that could go in there and take over and know the main job of it. But they do have some experience.
But wouldn't if you hire a qualified election administrator, wouldn't they have all of that training in all of those different areas that they could train
That
the
would be the
people?
best option to find somebody, yes, sir.
An election administrator and a part-time person carry out that election.
I'm not sure what it will take,
So we
since
just
we've not had full.
report y'all in.
All of my office works at it, and I have a part-time and 6 full-time, counting myself.
So, and one election administrator and one part-time person, put that election on.
Well, we originally had talked about having two, an administrator and a full-time person.
Okay.
But that was when we were going to take the person out of each of those offices.
There is part-time help in the elections budget at this time already.
Yeah.
There is some part-time.
Yes, we're all here. We're all gonna get one.
Well, I would think we would want to put this in place until January. Is that what you think?
That's not a problem to me, that we can start the process in January, but put it in place, ready for us to go, and maybe start some advertising. I feel it may take some extra advertising on the listserv and different stuff for the county and district clerks and the election administrators and clerks that do elections. There's a website that we all talk back and forth with on specialty stuff, that somebody might be interested, so I would like to advertise, you know, not just 2 solid weeks, I'd like to give some time.
Well, and we can make a transfer at that time to get that set up. So we have a little time to see if there's any change in employees, or if something else would work out that, you know, not make it a little easier. Maybe we could, all Lisa and you, and we could sit down and try to figure out how we can make this work.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that agreeable?
It's agreeable to me.
I just want to see how we can change in October, on October 1st, with the election being in November. Just-
Yes, ma'am, there's no way we could do that.
We did have some requests from the fire departments. There is going to be some more grant money available, and so we've gotten some requests that we're looking at right now. I think the auditor has looked at some things that have been submitted from Jody on some washer and dryer, special washer and dryers, washers and dryers that you treat their equipment, their suits and things. And so she's gone out and looked at and found some others that were a little cheaper than what we had, I should say less expensive, not necessarily cheaper, hopefully quality-wise. But anyway, we're going to be working with that and try to come up with a list of the requests from the fire departments that we can submit under this grant for reimbursement. We've got that. We've got Fairfield has asked for a lift and transport mechanism. I don't know if you call it a machine or it's a chair type thing, lift and transport. That's $6,400. I don't know if that will qualify under the grant, but they are requesting that. We may have enough funds to get that before the end of the year, actually. And then, Karen, what are the other requests that we have at this time?
Duke Fire Department has made a request for some equipment, which was $20,000, and we've
I'm
got
sorry, I
that.
can't hear you, Karen.
Duke Fire Department, they have requested
Isn't it about 23,000?
$23,000. And
And
he's
and
working
that's-
on one more
And that's
quote.
not something that we think would go under the grant, is that right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sue.
Again, we're going to look at that and see if possibly we can transfer some money to fund that now within this budget. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was there another one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's on the grant,
Well, we're making a list of things that people are requesting that will fit in within that grant. And a washer and dryer, those commercial washer and dryer machines will fit under that grant.
that's not a grant, that's just COVID money, there,
It is a grant.
It's great.
COVID grant money. Yeah. There may be some other things. So what I'll ask is that
tractor and the dryer does go under that.
Yes, that's what no does, but if there's anything else, and that's gonna be about, what'd you say, Karen?
152.
I've got a quote here off of my board for $139,000. It was $157, but this is $139,000.
Yeah, but if there's anything else, because we will have, it would be good if we could use that money in places that are needed. Not everything will qualify under that, but anyway. Anything else from the fire department?
I'd like to say something if I can. You know, Billy's not here today. You know, he's been down with some back problems. That's really key to hear. And I think, I know I appreciate it a whole bunch. And hope he gets better.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question concerning the full-time person that Karen was wanting to hire in the office after last week visiting with her. How much were you talking about paying the full-time person?
$33,000.
$33,000.
That's currently what she's making right now per hour. It's just a tad, just a little bit more, but I rounded it to 33.
Okay. What were we paying, was it Phil who was there before? Full-time person? Do you know what we were paying him before?
$15 an hour.
$15 an hour, come up to about what?
I don't even know. It's almost 33.
Is it 33,000?
1583 is 33,000.
33,000. Do we really have to have a full-time person in that office, or can we continue to make it what we have? Being that I see that we have a lot of time that we could use in other areas instead of having a full-time person. You know, I noticed that time before, for some magical reason, I don't know why, the auditor and her assistant felt it was necessary to ride by my house, I guess to see if I was working or to check on my roads. And so I'm saying, if we have that much time to try to police me, keep up with me, then I don't see where we need a full-time person. We can leave that full-time person at the office to be able to help the part-timers. So I don't support at all having a full-time person. Not at all. Not at all.
That person at 33 would be making the same thing as the chief deputies would be making as a second assistant. And I do find that wrong. I've asked for my chief deputy for the last 3 years we've been up, and the commissioners have not even looked my way when I've asked that. So I feel like if they do get that position, that it should be making what the chief deputy would make.
And I think that's stuff we have to look at when we're doing stuff. We have to look at people that have been here all of these years, that have asked for assistance, that have asked for money, and we have turned down for some reason. And then we also have to be open to hear people concerned when they have a concern, when they want. We ought to at least have our door open that those people can come and share whatever, whether we vote for it or not, that we ought to at least have an open door policy that they feel free enough that they can come to us and ask for whatever they need without being retaliated against.
Is everyone available for Tuesday?
go on.
Okay, I don't know whether it'll be after all of the, protests are done,
Right,
but I
exactly.
give you the certified value that he sent to us. Yeah, I can give you a copy of that. Okay. I don't have it right here about that one.
My husband's gonna have to talk to him. He hates what I'm fixing to say.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm probably the only person in the county, besides y'all, that is sometimes in favor of a tax increase because the county needs to provide services to its people. We need good EMS, we need good sheriff, we need, and you know, I'm frustrated with the road and bridge because, you know, you patch and it rains and you patch again, it rains and you patch again. But I'm always going to want protection, and I want our sheriff's department employees taken care of. Thankfully, I don't need an EMS yet, but I'm old enough that someday I will. There are different people in the county have different projects that they would like to have. A dog pound, when somebody drops a dog off on my property, I'd like to have a dog pound too. But we need to provide services, and I'm not sure, I'm not the only person that is concerned about the services in the county, and I'm certainly not a repository of information about all the things we need. I just know that this county does not do, in my opinion, a great job of providing services for our people. Now, we may provide something out of balance over here and underbalance over here, I don't know, but I guess I'm just willing to say that a small tax increase doesn't bother me. I'm on fixed income, and I have been for 20 years. And I still say that because my quality of life is more important to me than my bank account. Okay?
Anyone else? If not, then we will close the public hearing on the tax rate. Item number 6 is to consider the resolution to adopt the design standards, specifications, and quality assurance requirements for projects under the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund program. And these are the resolution, you have a copy. And this is just another step in the TIF grant.
We should act, I think, they don't
You
need
did? We have a motion.
So,
Help put that on the,
I have it here. Is there a motion?
I like it.
second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carries, thank you. Then, item number 7, consider an agreement with Frankworks for project delivery services for the County Transportation Infrastructure Fund grant. That's the agreement for them to do paperwork for the grant.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 8 is to consider the application for the county feral hog abatement grant. We've done this before. If we approve this, then people, as they do kill hogs, and we have plenty of them, they can turn in their paperwork and be reimbursed at a certain amount per animal.
Well, the turning paperwork,
That's what the question is, who's
okay,
They always is done. We've done it several years, and she always did. They have always done that, handle that program. Will you handle that program? Sure. All right. Do we have a motion?
make that vote.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carries.
I looked at the vote,
Yes, sir.
I looked at the vote at all. So we're gonna give that,
Are there any comments from the
Judge,
commission?
did we set the date on the proposed rate? Or is there anything we have to announce, the meeting on the vote?
Number 5.
Yes.
Announcement